Someone made a video talking smack about your, no. Someone made a video critical of certain things that you left out of your Nuances Dead video.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff gets left out. I mean, that was kind of one of the points of that video, though. Is like, there's no way to possibly get into everything. But, sure. Yeah, I'll listen. Whatever.
Hello, everyone.
I'm
the Outspoken Realist, and today I'm going to respond to the Amazing Atheist's video, Nuances Dead, and SJ...
I don't really hate him. I think he's okay.
Yeah.
I see him comment on our videos. It's usually pretty positive, but...
Yeah, he is actually a fan.
I hate how he views himself as my equal, though. That kind of disgusts me. But whatever, it's all right. I guess that delusions of grandeur are fine. Whatever. I can accept this flaw in his character.
W's piss on its grave. First off, I have no problem with anything in the video. It's not just a good video, it's a great video, and I'll link it in the description. You should probably watch it before watching this if you haven't already.
Yeah.
My problem with it is what's not in the video.
You said you had no problems.
As the title suggests, TJ goes after SJWs and makes great points about how they're basically allergic to nuance, and the same way people like me are allergic to bullshit. TJ makes this really well thought out argument tearing apart SJWs, but leaves a glaring hole. Everything he says applies.
Fucking gaping hole.
Shit, TJ, you left a glaring hole.
I left a glaring hole in Paul's ego's ass, too.
That is true.
Remember that time?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've forgotten that. I forgot having your fist up my ass about a month ago. Yeah. Yeah, forgot about that.
I thought you might have moved past it. I heard
Man,
you.
TJ, really just riding this fisting thing, huh?
Yeah. Well, I'm building up anticipation for the sequel, episode 300.
The fistening.
Shit. Episode 300.
Paul gets fisted too.
Episode 300.
Revenge
the
of the
fistening.
fist. Yeah. The fist.
Should it be Revenge of the Sphincter or something?
No, it's Revenge of the Fist.
Okay.
Because the fist is angry from last time because it didn't... It should be called Revenge of the Fists because it's going to be a double fisting next time.
There's no possible way that I can take two fists in my ass.
You just need to train. I'm going to send you some equipment. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. Applies to the anti-SJW movement as well. There is this huge, blatantly obvious problem in the skeptic community.
It's going to be Hughes. It's going to be Hughes.
That nobody is talking about.
Yep.
It's bubbling under the surface, and everyone is just ignoring it. And again, that problem is that the anti-SJW movement is becoming just as toxic as the SJW movement. And I could sum that up with one perfect example that addresses the heart of the issue.
Okay.
SJWs will automatically label you as a sexist, racist, misogynist, etc., just for saying something that challenges their narrative. On the other hand, anti-SJWs will automatically label you as a regressive, Muslim apologist, or even an SJW just for saying something that challenges their narrative.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely... We've seen that. I mean, that's like the AIUs and the live life blah, blah, blahs and shit. These people out there that, they have this mentality that anybody who disagrees with them is a regressive and a beta and cucked and all this other stupid bullshit.
But there's a huge difference because the SJW movement actually has traction. Like, look at the mainstream media. Look at everything we're seeing now. It's not like... Well, yeah, the other side, there are toxic people. I'm definitely going to admit that, but I don't really see them getting any sort of credibility.
I mean, look at the main people at least on YouTube, that are prominent about making anti-SJW videos. It's like Sargon of Akkad and Thunderfoot and myself and Teal Deer or TLDR. The Mundane Mad. There's a bunch of fucking channels that are about this, and most of them are not these closed-minded, like, you're a regressive cuck kind of bullshit. That's not really super popular. What's really popular is people who are pretty fucking reasonable guys, and girls like Shoe on Head and shit. So yeah, I don't really think that it stands up to scrutiny. I mean, like, I feel like in feminism, there's a huge movement that has this sort of quote-unquote toxic, want to label everything they don't like as sexist or misogynist, or they don't want to address arguments. They don't want to allow or permit any nuance to enter their worldview or poison their ideology. And there are people on, like I've been critical of MRAs, I've been critical of MGTOWs and red pillars and all that shit. But you know they're such a small they're so small and fringe and off to the side and not really they don't really represent most people. I mean that's a very fringe thing. Whereas in feminism, it's like that's the mainstream. I mean that's Anita Sarkeesian. That's you know all these movies being remade with just you know the same movie, but now it's a girl. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I just think that these girls should have their own fucking stories, you know? I don't think they need to just remake something that they already made for boys, but now it's girls. You know, but I actually do encourage these feminists out there to, like, create their own art rather than just bitch about the art that exists. I mean, you know, at least have, like, something of your own you can point at and say, this is what's good. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't think your characterization is accurate. I don't feel like, you know, the two sides are equal. I kind of feel like they're pretty pronouncedly different. Maybe there's assholes on both sides, but I think that there's way more assholes on the feminist side. I think it's the majority of them, whereas on the MRA side, it's a minority. It's a fringe, and those people, they're kind of, you know, looked down upon, I think. I don't really see them as being like a huge majority. So I don't know if that pretty much will address anything else you're going to say in your video. Let's see.
The anti-SJWs are becoming a mirror image of the SJW movement.
No, I mean, it's just not true. Yeah, so your premise is, in my opinion, faulty. I'm sure I'll get a YouTube comment about, well, what about, you know, so, you know, whatever. You'll write it and, you know, we'll discuss it then. Or you and the audience will.
If you say something that challenges either of their narratives, they automatically strawman you as the extreme opposite. Anti-SJWs are just as opposed to nuance as the SJWs are.
No.
Now, I'm an anti-SJW, TJ's an anti-SJW as well, but this doesn't apply to us because we're moderates. I'm talking about the hardcore far-right anti-SJWs.
There's always going to be
like
extremists.
AIU, Live Life, and the thousands of morons that
They're
follow
totally
those
obscure.
assholes.
They're totally obscure.
I'd say people like me.
Compared to Anita Sarkeesian and the feminist people that are getting popular. I mean, look, it's mainstream to be a feminist and to be an SJW. It's not even uncommon.
Especially
Look
on
at the Oscars.
like college campuses, you see these diversity quotas happening on the Oscars. You see way more diversity quotas happening in movies, even if the you know Hollywood sensibilities can't evolve fast enough to please the SJWs, because you know of course Hollywood is a slow lumbering beast, and these people want instant change like they can get in, you know, like new media, like, you know, basically the feminists snap their fingers and all of a sudden, you know,
BuzzFeed Studios presents.
yeah, you know, but even things that didn't used to be SJW and even rallied against stuff like that, like College Humor. I remember they used to mock the SJW stuff. Now they publish it. Crack.com used to be a fun site. Now it's all SJW shit all the time. There's another example I had. I'm forgetting what it is though. But yeah, I mean, you've seen a lot of publications take that turn, like Huffington Post. I used to go on Huffington Post and agree with most of the articles on there. Now it's like just an SJW rag. Young Turks used to think they were good. Used to view them as like a good independent source of like news and new media. Really exciting what they were doing. But now they just seem beholden to these PC regressive liberals like everybody else. Or deferous is another term I've heard for them.
TJ, Sargon, Mundane Matt, Repsion, Paul's Ego, Thunderfoot, etc. I'd say we're all moderates.
Paul's
Steve
Ego.
Shives is at the far
Paul's
left,
Ego is
and
really
AIU and his
left,
fans are at the far right. But they think they're moderate, and that's a problem. I see too many right-wing so-called liberals pretending to be moderates when they spew the same hateful rhetoric as the far right and use the same dirty tactics as the far left.
What is the
For example,
fetishization
just
of
like
this word moderate? Like, why is it a good thing to be a moderate in this country? Like, being a radical leftist doesn't mean that you're an SJW. You know, I consider myself to be left of pretty much most people that I've run into in my life, maybe with present company accepted. Or, but you know, like, I don't understand why people want to be this, like, I don't like being lumped in and labeled as a moderate. I don't think I'm moderate on most issues of import. I don't think
Yeah.
TJ is either.
I don't consider myself a moderate either. If he wants to say that we're moderates in his worldview, that's fine. I don't consider myself a moderate. I feel like I'm pretty strong in most of the positions I take.
I would say you're a moderate, TJ.
Yeah. You're a moderate, Scotty.
I am, TJ. I'm moderate.
No.
You're a moderate, TJ.
I'm not no moderate.
You're a moderate, TJ.
Fuck
Just
you,
admit
Scotty.
it. Just admit it.
Fuck you.
Dude, Ben knows you're a moderate.
Yeah, you are.
Feminists like Anita Sarkeesian criticize non-existent sexism in video games. So-called skeptics are criticizing non-existent feminist propaganda in movies.
Alright, so why I walked out of Star Wars The Force
But I mean, like,
Awakens.
come on. You can't deny that that is what it is. I mean, it's basically a remake of Star Wars with, now it's girl Luke, everybody. I mean, I have no problem with it. I like the movie. I think it's a good movie. But it was done well. But I mean, you can't deny that is what's going on. I don't know if it's necessarily directly linked to the whole SJW thing on the internet. I think that, there's evolving sensibilities all across the country to various degrees and shit, and J.J. Abrams is one of the guys that really kind of pushes for that kind of stuff. But, I can't fault J.J. Abrams for taking his principles like, I think there's not enough diversity in movies, and then actually doing something about it. Like, I'm going to create more diversity in movies and show people how it can be done. That's fine with me. What I hate is these people who just want to bitch and complain about it, but they don't create anything. The only thing they create is more complaints. And maybe that's hypocritical coming from me, an internet ranter, but whatever. I've never given myself an exemption for my own criticism, so that's pretty much where I stand on that.